to put a solar system on a roof that you know is going to be replaced within 5 years, that is bad business. That's why finding like a trusted person, like I've sent you people that will actually look at the system, look at the age of things. Does it work for you? Does it not work for you? And be honest about it. Because a lot of salesmen out here, including car salesmen, real estate agents, solar salesmen, they don't give a shit. Are you buying this product from me?
Welcome to the Your Peak Life podcast. Let's conquer the summit of life and reach the apex of our potential.
Welcome to another episode of Your Peak Life podcast. Today we got a special guest, my main man, Dean Rolle, solar expert of Hampton Roads.
How you guys doing? How you guys doing?
What's up, man?
What's up, bro? We need more energy than that.
But that's that I lost my Hellcat energy.
No, we need more energy than that.
Heart is shattered. Heart is just shattered.
Yeah, and then Kendrick just got murdered today.
Oh my goodness.
I wouldn't say murdered.
Well,
That's
no.
not the term.
That's not what we could.
That's not the term.
He just got touched.
Dude, he got touched.
No diddy.
Everybody get touched in a boxing match, you know?
But my real question is,
Yes.
that diss track is 7-minute drill.
Yeah.
We only got 3 minutes of it.
Hey, well,
That's all I'm saying.
And he does say he has another album.
if
He has two.
he did say this was a warning. You know, this was not the full thing. This is a warning.
Just
And
letting you know I'm here.
I really feel like they kind of just testing each other. This is more so the first round. They kind of feeling each other out. Nobody's thrown a haymaker yet, you know. Personal things have not been displayed yet. So, but I'm kind of looking forward to it.
Who do you think is the better MC?
I'm going to say Kendrick. That's just me,
Oof.
my personal opinion.
Okay.
Okay.
You know, everybody is
Well,
different
I can
about
leave
that.
now.
Conversation over. I'm a Kendrick fan.
So, I mean, what's new since you were on here previously?
So the last time I was up here, I had a Hellcat. I had a Hellcat.
Had a Hellcat.
You did. I wrote in it. I can verify.
You did. Y'all go see that video if you haven't seen that video. And approximately about 10 days after that video, that podcast was filmed, I lost that Hellcat. I have a scar right here on my hand and a plate and 5 screws to kind of remind me of that day. But other than that, though, everything's been cool, man. You know, business is going good. I'm adapting to the real estate market. I'm adapting to the solar market as well. That's a whole totally different field as well. Wife's good, kids good. I really had nothing to complain about. Everything's good.
Do you have your outfit ready? Is my question.
Circle of excellence. I do not have my outfit
man,
ready.
you're slacking.
I knew you was gonna check me on that one.
I'm not ready either.
You know, we take it serious. on
Yeah,
how
I'm
we look
super
here.
slipping this year.
Yeah.
I plan on going out this weekend.
You're not going, right?
and trying to go find something.
Not.
We're just hitting the after
Yeah, this
party?
is the unethical side.
Yeah, we hitting the after party or?
Yeah, we'll
See you at the after party.
We'll be
Yeah,
waiting there.
I'll be there.
Toasty. So what's your plans now? I mean, you had the YouTube channel. I mean, are you going to keep that going?
YouTube channel is going to continue. That's a little baby of mine that
Okay.
will never stop. I'm in the motion right now of transitioning content. I think I'm done with the vehicle content. I might be done with the vehicle content for now.
Yeah.
I still have my home tours. The only issues with the home tours is right now, you know, we're in the middle of a inventory issue, so it's less like good. I'll say good listings come along a little bit slower than they used to, and then not only that, I have to find a listing agent and a homeowner who's willing to let me film in their property. That can be an issue sometimes.
I got some new constructions on the market.
I'll be there, you know. So I got that, and then of course I have to I'm busy myself. I have to find time that meshes with my videographer, and then after that I do all the editing myself. So I have to make time for that. So it's not that I don't like doing it. It's just I'm looking for an alternative source of content to make it come out faster. So I'm still in the early stages, but I think I'm gonna transition to live streaming, and I'm gonna put my own little twist on that. Y'all will see that soon. I'll be announcing that soon, and that's pretty much it as far as content for me. That's pretty much it.
Okay. And then, before this started, you did say you were going to do some streaming online on maybe some gaming PCs or...
Kinda, yeah. I'm not going to hop into the full-fledged, like, all right, I'm just playing Call of Duty and y'all watch me play Call of Duty.
Right.
Nah, I'm going to put my little twist on it. Y'all will see when it comes out. Hopefully it's received well. just kind of making myself available because, you know, one of the best abilities is availability. So
Yep.
for me to be available while I'm at home playing the game, I think that's big. Not all agents are available once they get home.
Hell no. And then you're also available, you know, just talking to you, was it last week? Well, actually, like damn near every week when I see you out there in Chesapeake. You're getting flyers ready. You're out here knocking on
outside.
these
I'm
doors.
door knocking, man. You know, everybody has their
You always
way
have a
of-
plan.
Everybody has their way of, you know, getting their business. Some people, you know, door knock. Some people cold call. All these tips you can learn at the Your Peak Performance class that everybody should be signing up for. But
It's next week.
my particular way is I'm a door knocker. I like getting outside. I like going to see people. I kind of like being that in your face type of person. That's just the way. That's where I'm in my element. So I'm always outside. I'm always trying to meet new people that way.
On your adventures of door knocking, any crazy stories for these newer agents that are scared to do it?
Crazy stories.
Or any tips?
I mean, tips. At the end of the day, you got to treat it like it's a door. It's just a door. You knock the door. Somebody's gonna answer, or somebody's not gonna answer. And if that person answers and they don't receive your message well, okay, you go to the next door. Like don't hold on to it. Like you just keep going. It's a lot of doors out there.
Yeah. Are you doing it? Are you targeting neighborhoods? Like specific neighborhoods, or just?
I say specific neighborhoods are a target. That plays a role. I like to go to neighborhoods where I have some type of rapport built, so I know somebody in the neighborhood. Sometimes
Maybe
you know,
recently did a transaction there.
exactly. Recently did a transaction there. My advice for somebody just starting out: find a house that you recently did a transaction at, and just start by knocking the 5 houses around that house. You know, make it simple. You know, if you want to have another person to lean on your credibility, just go to the house across the street and say, "Hey, you know, Mr. Smith across the street," and you can point. You know, that kind of builds a link there and makes it easier for you to represent who you are because somebody there can vouch for you. So you can start by doing that. I call it the 5 house method. And then you can expand
That's great advice.
You can expand to the street. You know, you just, instead of taking on the whole neighborhood, just hit the houses on that street. If you door knock, don't make the I don't like saying the word dumb, but don't make the dumb decision of saying, "Hey, I'm gonna wake up at 10 o'clock in the morning and knock on all these doors." Everybody's at work. Knock on doors
Yeah.
between like 5 o'clock and when it gets dark. That's when people are home, you know? So this daylight saving time, we have more sunlight.
Yep.
It gives you more opportunity to knock if you really want to look at it that way. So that's my advice.
Let's talk success rate.
Okay.
If somebody opens the door,
Yes.
how often are they willingly engaging in that conversation with you?
I say, being realistic, I say about 25%. 25%. You got to get about 5 good conversations to get some substance from it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And substance can be defined in different ways. You know, substance can be defined as you just introducing yourself and leaving something behind. It could be defined as you setting an appointment. That's probably your best goal there, setting some type of appointment for something. It could be defined as you know, just letting them know what you did. It should all be planned out what your goal is before you get there. You shouldn't be thinking about what you're gonna say as they're opening the door. You should have some type of pitch developed and some type of end goal you're trying to reach.
Yeah. Only ask that because if somebody's going to experiment and they use the 5 house method, and then all 5 times they get shot down, that's normal.
That's normal.
That's what I'm
completely
saying.
normal.
Yep.
It's completely normal.
And you got a double-edged sword because you hit them with the solar panel side,
Yeah.
and the real estate side.
Yeah. So it's no secret. My niche is to knock on houses that have solar panels. I mean, I have a lot of reasons to talk to people with a house that has solar. So say, "Hey, I'm Dean. You know, I know you have solar. Do you know how your solar works?" That's one way. "Hey, I'm Dean. You have solar. You know, I kind of excel in selling houses with solar. Here's my contact information." That's another way. "Hey, Dean, it's me, Dean. I know solar. Do you like your solar?" "Yes, I like my solar." "Do you know anybody else that would be interested in solar?" Boom, that's 3. So it's a lot of different ways you can kind of flip that same pitch.
Yeah.
I would say I don't know of another real estate professional that has like that niche, the solar niche. Like as soon as I think of solar panels, like it's just immediate. Oh, Dean Rowe.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? We teamed up on a deal. I have an investor in Cali who wanted to do some solar panel farms. Hit up Dean. He had some knowledge. I mean, without his knowledge, I don't think we would have landed a deal. And we're still in negotiations. Like, we got like 200 acres that they're waiting for approval for us to
That should be a great one.
yeah, to get some solar panel fields. So because of his knowledge, like, he impressed the developer, tied with, my real estate knowledge and his, we land a major deal, 10-year deal. So some good stuff coming in, down the pipe. But just, a lot of people want to take real estate and look at the broad picture. I want to represent buyers or I want to represent sellers. Well, take a specific niche, right? Whatever that is. I target the Latino community. A lot. I'm on a radio station. I have a lot of friends who own Hispanic restaurants or businesses. That's my niche. That's where I kind of go in there. Dean specializes in solar panels. That's great advice. It's okay if you're good at one thing, right? If Steve Maribel he targets teachers, right? Former
Educators,
teachers,
yep.
and he's in the wrestling world. That's his lane. Find your lane, develop it, be a master of it, and let people know that that's your thing.
Yeah, for our area, what I would say is for these agents out here, like myself, who just went to go visit a past client that wants to sell their house, and you pull up and they got new solar panels. They just bought the house 2 years ago.
Man,
First thought, I'm going to bring somebody here
Yeah. Nah.
to go over this because they're in the impression, which the rules just changed, that they told us the buyer could take this.
Yeah, too much of a good thing can be a bad thing. So I got into real estate in 2019. And literally I got licensed in June 2019. And I had a gentleman knock on my door in August of 2019 about solar. At this point, everybody's had somebody knock on their door talking about solar. And they treat all those differently. They might say F off. They might say, yeah, whatever you selling, I'm not interested, whatever. So a guy comes to my house, and I had just left the corporate America, and I withdrew my deferred compensation. So I was essentially living off of my so-called retirement at that time. And he goes through this whole pitch about solar, and the ending statement was, hey, man, don't you want to learn how to save some money? And he kind of hit a soft point for me at that point in time because 2019, I only sold 2 houses that entire year. So me, my wife, and I did have my oldest son at the time. I was trying to look for a way to save $1. So I said, all right, come out, explain to me how this works, blah, 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 blah. So he comes out the next day, and he gives me a sales pitch. And I don't consider myself an easy sale. I like to think for myself. I do think some things are good for some people and some things aren't good for some people. In my particular situation, I was a young homeowner. I was 29 at the time. That was my first home ever. Everybody's goal when they really, we're all knowledgeable of real estate, but every common person goal with their first house is to, hey, I'm going to live in this house, and one day I'm going to rent this house out and buy me another house. So I saw my little 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home in Greenbrier as a good opportunity to invest in this property. And I thought getting solar would be a good way to do that. So I signed up for solar, and then a couple of days kind of simmer on me. And you guys probably started real estate younger than I did. I got in at 29. So at that point in time, a lot of people who get into real estate now, they have that undisclosed fear of, all right, I'm a real estate agent, but everybody kind of already has an agent in mind already. How do I get people to pick me over them? And I was thinking about it, and I took the information that the salesman told me, and I said, if all this stuff is true, then one day more people are going to start getting solar, which has happened. Slowly but surely, more people are getting solar panels. And I said to myself, all right, if solar panels go on houses and I sell houses, I should potentially know about this. So I saw that as an intersection between two worlds where myself, I could capitalize. And I said, well, if I'm going to do this, let me do this the right way. I'm going to sell solar, and I'm going to sell houses, and I'm just going to be me, and we're going to see what happens from that. So since then, 5 years later, I mean, I've sold about 70 houses, 70 plus houses since then. I've signed up about almost 200 families for solar. And me being more knowledgeable of how both markets work, both real estate and solar, I've seen the good and I've seen the bad of both industries. So I try to be that liaison, so to say, between the middle. And I'm not here trying to pick a side. There's some situations where, you know, solar can be good, and there's some situations where solar can be flat out horrible. Real estate, there's some situations where real estate can be good, and it could be some situations where buying a home might not be the right answer. So I try to just take the knowledge I've learned, and I try to be that unbiased source of information, specifically for Hampton Roads, because solar is fairly new here. And instead of just kind of picking a side, nobody's really, other than me, nobody's really trying to distinguish themselves as a safe space for any discussion to be had about it. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, most agents, when they hear solar, like, they cringe.
No, it's cool.
Like-
Immediately. I'm one of those guys.
It's all cool.
No,
It's all
it's
cool.
like, do you have solar? Is it paid off? If it's yes, you're like,
Can you pay it off?
yeah. Can you pay it
That's
off?
another
Is the next question.
It's a big
right?
question. It's a big
Yeah.
question.
So that's what I want to dive into, because you do see both sides of it.
Yes.
Solar here gets zero value from appraisers. In most cases, if it's not paid off, they're giving you like, oh, now that you have a debt. How are you approaching such a transient location like Hampton Roads and saying, if you plan on having this house for 3 to 5 years, is it smart? And we were talking earlier that Good Leap, not to mention
That's
no
one
names,
lender,
had
correct.
said no more assumptions. Could you explain what happened since they put out that message so people understand that people can assume?
Gotcha. So yeah, December, that was roughly December last year. That was a very, very nasty day. I get a call, shout out Noble Title. I get a call from Noble Title, and they're like, hey, you know, Dean, you're the solar expert here. Did you hear about this particular lender stating that loans can't be transferred anymore? I was like, nah, not at all. Never heard that. You know, I make a call, and I don't call any direct like people of contact. I just call like the regular 1-800 number. And the conversation I had was not a pleasant one. To piggyback on what Eric said, essentially they were stating that as of this day, these loans can't be transferred anymore. They have to be paid off in whole. And that was a nasty day. After that point, you know, I reached out to my point of contacts, and I basically voiced how I felt about that, and voiced how everybody in this room would have felt about that. And I'm like, hey, that's not good business. That's not particularly for Hampton Roads in this market where, you know, we have a large military population. It's a lot of home purchases happening, but the length of stay is not as long as some other places. So I kind of voiced my opinions about that and said, hey, you know, I understand everybody has policy and procedures, but this is one of those exemption places. Like, we have to make an alteration. Since then, they've overturned that rule, and that particular lender does have a transfer process. It's still a process. You know, there's still certain requirements that have to be met, but it's not as harsh as saying, hey, it can't be done. I think one piece of important information is for solar transactions in Hampton Roads is it's a lot of different solar lenders being used. It's not like just one lender.
Right.
It's probably like 5 or 6 of them in this area, and each lender has their own requirements for the transfer. Some which are beneficial to the seller, some which are not. You know, when people sign up these solar loans, they're doing it from a mindset of, hey, you know, I'm more or less doing this to benefit myself, which I understand, but they're not really fully knowledgeable, or the person selling it may not be fully knowledgeable of exactly the requirements that are needed to get rid of this if you have to sell this house. Eric said it as well. I've had a conversation with a lot of appraisers. If you're in a situation where you're transferring the loan, it's borderline impossible to get value from it and transfer that balance over to the next person. It's kind of like double dipping. So you can't do that. Now, if there's a situation where, you know, hey, I'm going to pay this off. And in this situation and in this market, that can get nasty. You know, you buy a house for 3 years, maybe you got $50,000 in equity. But if you're looking at a $45,000 solar system, then now you don't have $50,000 in equity. That's a bad day. So if you do decide to pay it off, then it's more of a debate for how much value does this add. But again, it's still a risk there because solar at this level in this market is probably only 6 years old. And a lot of appraisers don't have a legit formula for determining how much value this should add. If there's a difference between your contract price and the appraised price, that's something you're gonna have to eat. And not everybody's willing to eat that. So it can get bad. It can get bad. I mean, this conversation go mega long. I think some houses have solar that really shouldn't have solar. Like, if you have a house, like my house, for example, when I bought my house in 2021, I already knew how solar worked. So it sounds crazy, but the direction my house faced played a role in me buying my house because I wanted a house that was perfect for solar. I have 23 solar panels on the back of my house, and for the last 2 years, my electricity bill has been $0.00, and I have a $10,000 gallon swimming pool that runs all year. So I have a good house for solar. What people don't realize is not every house is good for solar. So if I go to sell my house and I can show you that, hey, the electricity bill that comes with this is $0, that's a pretty easier sale than, you have a house, you have like 10 solar panels, but you still need to buy $300 of electricity from Dominion.
Yeah.
So the person buying the house is going to say, well, is it even working right? Or why should I take this off your hands?
I can tell you right now, my bills, summertime, they're $400 to $500.
Exactly.
And I've thought about it because I'm like, well, I don't intend on moving.
Like for me, like solar, my next house will have solar on it.
Understood.
But I'm also moving to somewhere where it's normal.
Sunny, yeah.
Now, what I don't like seeing in this industry, and I'm dealing with this right now, which we are very lucky because the market we're in, guy has a solar panel system. It was like 37 on it.
Okay.
Got it 2 years ago. They put it on a 20-year-old roof. So immediately got called out saying, boom, roof is shot.
Mm-hmm.
You need to replace this roof. Luckily, in this particular case, the buyer is willing to split the cost of a new roof as well as assuming this panel loan. They want the house. But when you have salesmen or companies, and I won't say anybody their companies, to put a solar system on a roof that is going to be replaced within 5 years, that is bad business.
Very.
Like he's already talking about going and filing reports and making reviews, and that's a whole other story. That's why finding like a trusted person, like I've sent you people that will actually look at the system, look at the age of things. Does it work for you? Does it not work for you? And be honest about it. Because a lot of salesmen out here, including car salesmen, real estate agents, solar salesmen, they don't give a shit. Are you buying this product from me?
So part of my spiel when I get somebody under contract is like, look, these are the people that are going to call you, right? The title company, the lender, just these specific people, including myself or my wife or whatever. Now, all these other companies are going to call you also because your information is sold. When I close the deal, I also mention this company.
Water softeners.
Water softener, ADT, alarm
ADT,
systems, whatever. They're all going to call you. I did not give you that info. But if you're thinking about solar, I always tell them this. I was like, I know a guy in my office who does both.
Appreciate
Right.
that.
They haven't reached out yet, but you will get a
I got you.
referral.
I appreciate that.
But I always bring that up because they show up to their doors. They're either calling them right away, and I know the number that just called me just a minute ago. It's like, hey, you got this person under contract. Can I get that buyer's information?
Right.
Every time.
Well, it's
Every
funny.
time, right away.
And it's funny too, because I've had people come to my door. Like I've owned my house now for what would it be about 8 years ago, 9 years ago.
14, a decade.
So I have them come to my house because I have like the perfect angle, perfect roof for solar. So they come to my house, and I always entertain these guys. Like I stand on my front porch.
He's got a
for
ranch. It's right under the sun.
So I entertain these conversations, and I'll tell you what, man, there's some cringy conversations that I have, but what's funny is like, I'll tell them midway, like, go ahead, do your pitch. I'm not buying from you. Mm-hmm. I have people, if I ever wanted to put solar, I have people I would go to, but let me give you some tips. You know what I mean? And they've actually went and sold solar to other people in the neighborhood. Mm-hmm. Like I'm not going to knock the hustle, but I've had people like, oh, you don't give a fuck about making money. Bitch, you came that hard, bro.
Yeah.
Like, no, I love money, but putting solar, I'm selling it in 6 months. Like, I'm not putting solar on my house. Yeah. And they just keep going and digging, and I'm just like,
they're trained, man. I mean,
like,
and they're trained. They're trained to be pit bulls. Like, they're trained to fight through like 10 no's.
Right.
Yeah,
so I'll give it to them. They don't walk away.
No, they don't.
Like one of them.
I guess you don't want to add value to your house.
Right. I've had that.
Well, you know that it doesn't.
Yeah. I guess I don't.
That was my last conversation. I'm actually a real estate broker.
Yeah.
And then they look at you crazy. Like, no, one that actually sells houses.
No, I think you're right, though. I think it's a case-by-case basis on, does it fit their lifestyle? Does it fit their plan? Mm-hmm. Some people buy a house here. How many people have you sold a house to that they're like, I'm going to use this as a rental? Okay, if you want that, that's a perk for a tenant. Mm-hmm. So having people that are being honest, like yourself, like, it's definitely good to see that it's out there.
Yeah, I'm a rare one, man. I mean, at the end of the day, we all work, and we work because we love working. I mean, hopefully you love what you do, and you work because you want to work. But the underlying truth behind all of that is, I mean, we all work to provide for our families and make income. That's the truth. These solar people do the same thing. So the bad thing about sales jobs is sometimes when people get hungry, morals start going out the window. They start doing and saying things to just get a sale. Now, with something as complex as solar, it's dangerous. It's dangerous. We're in an industry where, interest rates are higher for houses, and solar isn't immune to that. So interest rates have gone up for solar. 2021, you could have had a $100 electricity bill, and I could have went to you and said, hey, we'll get you the solar system, and I can give you the same electricity for $60 because the interest rate was so low. And people consider that a no-brainer. Sign up. So now, interest rates in the solar industry are in like the 4 or 5% range. You might have a $100 bill. I'm coming to you and showing you the same thing for $130 a month. So now it's not a no-brainer. Now it's a legitimate sell. I tell people all the time, the statement I use to kind of explain everything is anything that can be bought can be sold. You can make anything sound better than it is. So people are just kind of treading that fine line, and I don't know if they're doing this because they're in panic mode. They're trying to guarantee their family has a roof over their head next month, so they just gonna twist that extra arm to get that extra sale. I've gotten to a point myself where I got to make money too, but the most important thing to me has always been my reputation. I stand on my morals. I've gone to people's houses and flat out looked them in the eye and said, hey, based off what you just told me, I don't think solar's the best thing for you. I've actually gotten listings from that. I've actually had a woman, shout out to Brittany Herb, sold her house last year. Like, shout out to Brittany. Brittany's in I want to say Oklahoma, not Oklahoma, but Brittany's down south now. I went to her house in 2022, and she had this big old tree in the front yard. And she was like, yeah, I set this appointment about saving money. How's this work? And I said, hey, to be honest with you, I just came here because I want the person who spent all day knocking on doors to get some type of compensation. But the truth be told is, if I were you, I wouldn't put solar on this house. And she was like, wow. She was like, well, I really appreciate how honest you are. And then I went into the whole spiel of like, yeah, I'm a real estate agent, blah, 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 blah. And she said, well, give me your contact info because I might be up for orders next year. And when I go to sell, I'm definitely going to call you. And she actually called me, and I sold her house in Norfolk last year. That's the correct way it's supposed to be done. But again, Bless you. Don't put-
You good over there, bro?
Yeah,
Were you
bro.
biting the microphone? What just said?
Do you have lunch?
Right? I look up. I just said.
Try to deep throat it.
Went down. I was trying not to laugh. Couldn't hold it back.
Nah, but that's how it's supposed to be done, man. You know, but you do have some people who, you know, they're fortunate enough to get a house in this market, and they're like, hey, I got a house. I'm not letting it go, and they just happen to get good sunlight. Like that's more of a better conversation for solar, because if you're not going anywhere, it makes sense. But yeah, not everybody treats it that way. I treat it that way. It should be treated that way. I try to lead by example for both industries. But that's really my part in trying to make the whole thing better.
I mean, I was going to talk crap about fucking solar now, and he sold me on it.
Eric's like, yeah, maybe I can get some.
Eric's just going off emotions first.
He's an
Eric,
elite
you move and
salesman.
don't get something.
No, like my thing is like when you sell, like I sell on emotions, man.
Yeah.
Back with logic later.
Yeah.
You know, like that's how you've heard me teach that exact thing all the time. I don't door knock. I cold call.
That's
That
cool.
is my forte. Because you hear little things and like, okay, let me just get to the house. Like,
Gotcha.
you know, and boom, set the appointments. But really, for people that don't know you, who are you? What is your 5-year vision? Where are you going?
My 5-year vision. I'm 33 years old. 38. I want to be
He's a
the
young buck.
face of that gray area between solar and real estate. I want to be that realtor who is caring, empathetic, but also very knowledgeable of what he does, respected. I want to be that face for the faceless. I want to be that person, that imaginary person that people think doesn't exist. I want to be I don't want to be the face of the solar sales industry. I don't want to be the face of real estate. I just want to go down as history as that one guy who really tried to explain why both these industries need to understand each other. So that's my goal. That's my personal goal.
Nice.
Shit, you're already there for me.
Well, we just got to get them out to the masses. You know,
You
we
know
gotta-
what I mean?
well, and that's the thing. Like, I think there should definitely be more conversations between the different industries.
Yes.
You know, I think that in other states like Texas, Arizona, California, there's an understanding.
Yes.
Where here, there isn't.
Correct.
You know, there's a big gap between appraisers, lenders,
Massive gap. Massive.
agent. Like the lack of education is mind-boggling. You know, because a lot of people in this industry, we could all agree, they just want to make the money. They don't want to train. They don't want to get the knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to reach out to anybody that could get them that knowledge. So if we open more doors to having honest conversations about the different industries, I think we'll be winning and we'll be in the right direction at a minimum.
It's an East Coast thing, man. I hate to say it, but like the West Coast, whenever it comes to innovative things like technology and things of that nature, it usually happens on the West Coast first, and the East Coast gets it last. So
It's like that trickle effect.
yeah, so all those changes.
Here we go. East Coast, West Coast. We
I
gonna
mean,
start that?
I mean, we just behind, man. I hate to say it, we just behind. Like,
So what we need is a West Coast connection.
yeah, that'd be
Yeah, I
lovely.
mean-
That'd be lovely.
Put your feet.
Add that noise in there. But yeah, we need that, man.
Hell yeah.
Well, take us home, bro.
Dean, pleasure having you.
Thanks for having me.
Um,
Always.
Please subscribe below in the comments. Link will be in the comments. Looking forward to another episode next week. Tune in next Saturday.